Clarence North Bisesto Sawle was born in Athabasca Landing, Alberta, on February 20th, 1914. His parents were Alexander Leonard Sawle and Clara Thompson. As the First World War began and the local railway line became less important, Athabasca experienced a significant economic slowdown. In North's very early years, he and his family moved to Edmonton. When North was 4 years old, his younger brother Charles Leonard Tregerthen Sawle was born June 27, 1918. North loved music and he played the violin. North was an accomplished photographer, and many of the photos in this film were shot by him. North and his brother Len had one thing in common. They were both destined to become pilots. For North, his love of flying began by hanging around at Edmonton Airfield. At the age of 15, North and his best friend Leonard Wagon had built their own airplane based on plans purchased from an ad in a magazine. North went on to take flying lessons, partially financed by selling tickets for people to ride in the plane during his lessons.
My father's flying history, he really qualified as a pilot with the Edmonton and North Alberta Flying Club. He obtained his private license in 1931 when he was 17 years of age, if you can believe it. He received his commercial ticket in 1932, 1 year later. And he received his instrument flying course and holds transport license number 41 for all of Canada in 1937. So there weren't a lot of pilots around.
North's father wanted him to get a degree in commerce, but North quit university after only 2 years. Almost immediately, in 1934, he got his first job with Grant McConaughey's United Air Transport, working as a mechanic. He soon moved up to bush pilot and spent a winter hauling fish. North then went to Mackenzie Air Services for a year. By 1936, he was back at United Air Transport flying mail and supplies around the cold North, the place for which he was named. The documented exploits of North Sawle began in the icy skies over Fort Simpson, Yellowknife, Aklavik, and Great Slave Lake. A plane had crashed at Lake Dumas, and the pilot and his mechanic were left in the wilderness with little food. It was North Sawle who swooped down and found them. In another more dramatic situation in 1939, the trapper Andy Hay was at a lake somewhere in the Arctic and waiting to be picked up. But his pilot was in the hospital on his deathbed. With only an old pencil sketch of an unknown lake amongst hundreds, North Sawle managed to find Andy Hay standing on his cabin roof at Stinky Lake, waving a white square of cloth. His food had almost run out. Sawle rescued the trapper along with his 5 dogs. Years later, in 1944, North Sawle wrote an article for Canadian Air Cadet magazine about being a bush pilot and landing a plane in the Arctic winter. He said, "The pilot must show good judgment in selecting a suitable landing area, avoiding hard, windswept snowdrifts on the surface of lakes, and jagged, broken ice, rocks, and logs on frozen rivers." North spent many years in the skies above the icy Arctic. When he wasn't flying, he spent time at home in Edmonton, where he met his future wife, Frances Loretta Wareham.